What is going on, guys? This is Daniel, and the Indiana Pacers have had an excellent season. Despite losing Victor Oladipo a while back, they still have a 43-25 record, and in terms of why, we should look no further than their 4th ranked defense. They allow a stingy 106 points per 100 possessions, and there are a few reasons why. In this video, I want to focus on 2 big reasons: Myles Turner and their overall defensive IQ. Let's start with Myles Turner, who has been one of the best defensive centers in the NBA this season. To first describe his impact, we should start with his rim protection, which has always been a strength of his. For example, on this play, Giannis has it near the foul line, and Turner is dragged away from the basket because he's guarding Brook Lopez, but we see on the drive, he eventually comes over and is able to contest and block Giannis at the basket, which not many centers can do, so the raw talent has always been there. But one area where he's improved this year is with his overall activity. On this play, for example, he comes out high to contain Lou Williams in the pick and roll, and then on the pass to the roll man, he looks out of the play. It's up to the weak side now to contain Harrell. But he comes out of nowhere to get the block, showing his relentless nature. He truly protects the rim like a dominant high school player. Here, for example, the Clippers have a 4-on-2, but while watching this live, I honestly didn't feel the Pacers were in that bad of a spot because Turner was one of the 2 players back, and the rim felt safe. And on this break, the first pass Turner takes, and then he also quickly recovers to take the second pass and get the block. Wow. And we can definitely credit his increased activity in some of these second chance defensive plays to his work this past summer to change his diet and get in better shape, and it's clearly made a big difference. If we simply look at his blocks per 36 minutes, for example, we can see that this year he's taken a big jump. So he's a tremendous rim protector, and next up I want to talk about Turner's improved agility on the perimeter, which leads into one of my favorite defensive plays I came across, which was this in the pick and roll. So Lou Williams has the ball, and because Lou is such a threat to pull up, Turner comes higher than usual near the 3-point line. And for traditional centers, this is a tough task. Lou is able to blow by many of them to break down the defense. But here we see Turner is able to slide with Williams the whole play and block him easily at the basket. And he's also an improved switch defender when the Pacers ask him to. Here he switches on to Giannis, and notice how low in the stance he gets prepared to handle the perimeter player, and he ends up doing a great job in forcing Giannis into a tough fadeaway. But possibly the most important aspect of his improved defense is his improved anticipation and feel. The guy is just much smarter on defense. One example is in the pick and roll where he typically drops, and he's one of the best drop big men in the NBA, and on this play defending in the drop, he's basically in a 2-on-1, and he's able to sniff out the lob pass and break up a potential alley-oop. And guards need to be more careful about trying this pass against Turner, and here he breaks up another one. This is great anticipation on this play. So on the skip pass, Isaac is able to blow by Thad Young on the closeout, and Turner is in a 2-on-1. But he anticipates the pass to Vucevic, he gets a hand on it, and ends up forcing the turnover. And oftentimes, smart defensive plays can be very subtle. Here, for example, in the pick and roll, the Magic will reverse it on top, and what they want to do is work a high low to Vucevic's ceiling in the paint. And this can be tough for a young center to anticipate, but what Turner does here is very high level. As the ball is being reversed, he urgently gets in front of Vucevic, fronting him and preventing that high-low pass. As a result, Vuce is forced into a standard post-up on the block, and Turner holds up well and forces the tough shot. Here's another smart play. So Beverly will get a drive toward the middle, but Turner does a nice job of cutting him off, and he can do this because he's not guarding a 3-point shooter in Montrezl Harrell. Then, later on the play, we see Corey Joseph is able to close out hard to Williams because he knows Turner is in the paint and will clean up any drive. Sure enough, Williams' thought process is altered here as he forces up a tough runner when Turner steps up. And I know I'm spending a lot of time on Turner, but it's because he is such a large part of their defensive identity and their success. For example, Sabonis is a fine defender, but when he comes in there is a noticeable drop off. Suddenly the rim is more open, and for example on this play, in the pick and roll, Tyrone Wallace is not afraid to go right at Sabonis and score on him, and if that was Turner, that would have been a block. Moving on to the Pacers' overall defensive IQ, and this shows up in a number of ways, and one area I'll focus on is their pick and roll tags. They're pretty aggressive in tagging the roll man. On this play, for example, as soon as it's clear the pick and roll is happening, we see Thad Young get into the lane to tag the roll man. He makes contact with Vooch, and then Fournier will pick up his dribble, Turner will recover to Vucevic, and then because Young got in help position early, with the proper momentum he can recover back to his man and prevent the 3-point shot. On this play, we see Doug McDermott is cavalier getting underneath the basket to tag the roll man, and then on the skip pass, because he isn't late in help running toward the action, he's able to recover on the flight of the ball. That's why getting in help position early is so important. This allows him to close out nicely and not allow a drive, and that's a nice defensive job. The aggressive tag can also help them force some extra turnovers, which they're very good at doing. First on this play, in the pick and roll, Collison performs ice, keeping the ball sidelined, and this is particularly important on this play because Turner decides to trap the ball handler along the baseline. And he does that knowing a defender will tag the roll man and be in position to help, and on this play, Young gets the steal. As the pick and roll is happening here, I want you to keep an eye on Bogdanovic. He's guarding the opposite wing, and notice how he's facing the ball in this spot. This allows him to keep the whole pick and roll in front of him, which becomes very important as Shai Alexander throws a bullet pass to the opposite corner, and Collison, who's defending the corner, is far over tagging the roll man. Now, if this was a high arcing pass, Collison would be able to recover in time. But because it's a bullet pass, Collison would give up an open 3 if he had to get out there. So Bogdanovic, seeing this all unfold, rotates out to the corner. Collison immediately adjusts and rotates out to the wing, executing the switch. This rotation is called the X out, and they're willing to live with that shot. Not just in the pick and roll, they're also smart in their general help and recover rotations. On this play, Collison gets beat toward the basket, and we see the textbook help. Thad Young comes from the corner to provide help at the rim. Tyreke Evans will make the same rotation Bogdanovic made and get to the corner, and then the rest of the Pacers rotate and scramble to prevent any kind of advantage, and they eventually force a turnover. Let's actually watch this play one more time because I want you to keep a close eye on Collison. He does give up the drive, but notice how as Beverly is kicking it out to the corner, Collison doesn't relax. He immediately looks to see what's the right move, and in this case, it's the rotation out to the wing. He takes away that 3, and this was a great possession in terms of urgency and communication by the defense. On this play, Collison gets blown by toward the middle, but the Pacers aren't going to allow a layup here. Turner immediately comes over to protect the rim, and then Matthews, with great urgency, gets out to the 3-point line, and he ends up getting the deflection. And also, let's briefly talk about how they don't switch unnecessarily. Switching is very common in the NBA, but you can overdo it. The Pacers don't, and while watching them, one way you can see this is when Thad Young comes out to hedge. So on this play, Gallinari will set a ball screen, and of course you wouldn't want to switch this to have Collison on Gallinari, so Young will hard hedge, which isn't too common in today's NBA, but it works here as they contain the pick and roll, and then when the Clippers tried to post up Gallinari, there is no mismatch, and Young can handle Gallo and force a tough shot. Well, there you have it, guys. Now you have a better appreciation for the Pacers defense, and in the process, I hope you'll learn some stuff about defense. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.